Hey guys, what's up? I'm doing this a little different. I'm going to try going live both here on YouTube and on TikTok at the same time. My kids are going to come say hi. They're supposed to be doing homework. That's Alex.
I finished my homework.
Okay, Alex is done with his homework. Austin is still working on his. So let's set up our TikTok live as well. So if you haven't been here, we talk a lot of health stuff. The boys make funny faces. They do occasionally input something good, so pay attention.
But her food is amazing.
And we're making burgers tonight for dinner. And then Alex is going to swim practice and mental training, and I am going to go swim by myself. Because I did not get a swim in yesterday, and I didn't get it in earlier today. So we're gonna both get to go swim tonight. I haven't quite worked up the ability to ask his coach if I can just swim with them, because that would make my life a lot easier. Hey, Bubba, Mrs. Toddy, Jennifer, Angela, Fast Eddie, Teresita, Marin. If you guys are interested, I'm also over live on YouTube. Hey, Randy. And you can watch me on YouTube. One of my big questions for the day is there are rumors floating around that TikTok is now on the Meta servers. And there has been some question as to whether or not people stay on TikTok and where they're going. So if you are going somewhere, I'd love to hear where. Obviously, you can follow me on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, but that's a Meta platform as well. Hey, Lori, Bren, JD, Webster, Jack. Good to see you guys. Doing a little bit of cleanup before we start making dinner here. I'm going to pull out the stuff to make. Hi, Rhett. Hi, Lynette. Steve, what's up? So, yeah. I don't know what to think about what happened, but the algorithm is definitely a little different already. So it'll be interesting to see. One of the things that I've noticed for sure is that my videos don't get the same number of views on TikTok. So there's that. I used to consistently get 800 to 1,300 views, something like that on TikTok, but I'm not getting that anymore. Now I'm lucky if I get a couple hundred, and I'm talking all about health stuff and ways to prevent using insurance in the modern medical system. And it's definitely not, I don't think what the insurance companies want to have us put out there, because most of it is stuff that you can do without them, basically. And they don't really want that. So hi, Rhonda. Hey, Mary Rose. Hey, Brenda. One question that I would have for all of you guys is when you're deciding to use somebody's services, what are the number one things that you look for? Hi, 88 Eddie. Tom, how are you guys? I'm getting out all the things that I need. I'm trying to do this all in order tonight. We're going to make burgers. Our seasoning is this molasses and this Montreal steak seasoning, which is just garlic, salt, and pepper. And then we're using grass-fed, grass-finished beef from Sun Prairie Beef here in Colorado. And we're going to use about 2 pounds of it. I wasn't really thinking. I didn't get it out beforehand, so it's super cold. I also think I might need to make bread today. We were not home over the weekend, and so it did not get made. Luckily, there'll be leftovers of this, so nobody needs bread tomorrow. So maybe I can make the bread tomorrow. Because I would prefer, I think, to make a sourdough loaf, and that takes longer than regular sandwich bread. So hopefully I'll get to make the bread tomorrow. I am tomorrow going to publish a blog on my website, drmarcycm.com, about the importance of vitamin D. Because I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand how important it is. And hey, Michael, how are you? It plays a role in how your body uses insulin. It plays a role in how your body produces your other hormones. It plays a role in how sensitive your cells are to insulin. It plays a role in your thyroid health. It plays a role in your brain health, your nerve health. So vitamin D is super important. And I was talking to another gal today who they told her they didn't even measure her thyroid, but they tested her TSH and said, oh, your thyroid's low. TSH is a measure of your pituitary gland. They did measure her vitamin D. Didn't tell her it was low, but the lab marked it as low, which means she failed that test. And didn't give her any indication as to what she should do either. So we're going to start her on vitamin D supplementation. It'll probably fix her thyroid, which is really her pituitary gland, and get her moving more in the right direction anyway. But to me, it was just kind of frustrating, and I'm sure to her as well, because she can see it's 1 tablespoon per pound, Michael, of molasses. She can see the lab being marked as low by the lab, her vitamin D, and then saying, oh, no, it's fine. It just doesn't make sense. And don't ask me how much of this I'm using. Until it looks right, I have no idea. That looks close to right. We'll see. So if you get that, like you get a lab that's tested, number 1, Alex, I need your help really quick.
Alex, you want me to need your help?
Number 1, normal lab values are not optimal. Normal lab values are based off of the average of the health of Americans over the last 10 years. Can you pull my sleeves back? Like, why are you pulling from there? Pull from like here.
I think the way I did it was easier.
So your optimal lab values aren't even like the range that you see on a normal is everyone who's getting an A through a D. And it's in comparison to the rest of the health of U.S. citizens. 96% of U.S. citizens are metabolically unstable. So do you want to be compared to normal? Or do you want to be compared to optimal? And it just fascinates me that we still have all of this information out here and we aren't utilizing it to make people healthier. And I don't know why it fascinates me, because the whole medical system doesn't make any money unless you're sick. But you have options. And one of them, honestly, would be start cooking more meals at home. I mean, I meet people all the time who are like, I don't cook, I just don't like to. What do? I eat out every night. Where are you eating?
Burger King.
Burger King. It's kind of ridiculous. Is Alex still down here, or did he run back upstairs?
Upstairs.
I need that child. Where is he going to? So I think it's important to realize that there are a lot of things that you can do for your health, for your wallet, that can be done in your own kitchen. I mean, even, is the food scale behind my computer?
Yeah, probably.
Can you get it and then replace my computer? And can you, this is cutting off circulation to my arm. Can you pull it down just a little bit? You can set the food scale right there. Oh, thanks. I think. So for instance, like if I were to go and buy a loaf of gluten-free bread at the store, it's going to cost me about $9. If I buy it at Costco, I can get 2 loaves for $11. If I make it at home, I can make it for $3. Does that make sense? So I'm saving a lot of money by making it at home. And yes, I'm weighing out every single one of these burgers. Why am I weighing them out? Because I like to make sure that everyone is getting enough protein and enough food in general, but enough protein for sure. I don't know why, but I always make the first one way too big. And then vegetables. A lot of people ask me this question. We should be eating more seasonally in terms of our vegetables and even our fruits. But if you buy frozen vegetables, that's great. Even canned vegetables is fine. If you can get them fresh at a reasonable price this time of year, buy those. Because obviously, most of the time, fresh is better. But look at where they're coming from. If they're coming from outside of the US, they were probably picked before they were ripe, which means they don't have as much nutritional value. If you're getting something that comes from across the country and it's fresh, it was probably picked before it was ripe, and it doesn't have as much nutritional value as it should. So try and buy local. And buy frozen if you need to. It's not that big of a deal. And again, you can buy canned. Things that you can get in season right now are like a lot of the squashes. You can get a lot of those in season right now. And you can also get potatoes in season right now. And people are going to say, oh, but I shouldn't eat potatoes. I'm going to give you a little trick. Cook your potatoes the day before you want to eat them. Let them cool completely. And then reheat them. It actually lowers the insulin response to them. But not only that, potato starch, when it's broken down like that, actually helps support GLP-1 production in your gut. So you can make your own GLP-1. The same is true of rice. It's not as good at that as potatoes, but you can use it. Same thing like your sweet potatoes. You want them to be, they're healthier than white potatoes, but you want them to be even healthier. Cook them, reheat them the next day. Or throw them in a salad, something like that. And it will help you produce more GLP-1 in your own gut because most of your GLP-1 is produced in your gut. And when you are taking the injection, what you bypass is helping the cells in the gut. They're actually the last thing to get supported, and we need them to be supported early and often. GLP-1 do play a role in cognitive health and behavioral health and insulin resistance and all of that. But the gut health also has to be there, or it almost doesn't matter. My hands are cold. So you have to fix the gut health in order to be able to come off GLP-1s. This one's Austin. And not rebound weight gain. Does that make sense? Fixing the gut health has to do mostly with taking in prebiotic and postbiotic fibers that help support the health of your gut overall. Just taking and this is something, so there's a company out there called Pendulum. They have a probiotic called Akkermansia. Akkermansia is what they say you need to produce more GLP-1. This is true. Akkermansia is very unstable. So if you're taking it orally, less than 10% of what you're taking is actually making it to your gut. What's better is if you feed it the right fibers in order to help your gut produce Akkermansia on its own. So potatoes, you want to cook them. So like say you wanted to have potatoes tomorrow night with dinner. You would want to cook them tonight, cool them in the fridge overnight, reheat them tomorrow. And that gives you a good starch that Akkermansia likes to feed on, but it lowers the insulin response of that food. And then the other thing it does is it shuts off this DD4 receptor that helps your body have more satiety, which is appreciating the food that you've eaten, and also helps your body to extend GLP-1 in the body. So GLP-1 normally lasts for somewhere between 45 and 50 minutes. And to extend its shelf life in the body, you need to shut off the DD4 receptor. The DD4 receptor can only be turned off by adding stuff to the gut that is good for Akkermansia growing. Does that make sense? That doesn't happen if you're not eating good sources of fiber like vegetables. I don't know if that's true, Tony. I guess you could look up on the census website the average age. Hi, Subo. We're having burgers for dinner. So fixing a low vitamin D will also help fix your GLP-1 receptors because it helps them become more sensitive to insulin. Thank you for the gifts. So those are things to kind of keep in mind. Here's a thing you probably don't realize though. If you're on medications to control your cholesterol, you probably have low vitamin D. Because if you're relying solely on the sun, you cannot convert vitamin D from the sun without cholesterol. So if your cholesterol is below 180, because you're on a medication to control it, it's too low, which also means you can't produce testosterone because cholesterol is the backbone for testosterone. How many of you on here have been diagnosed with ADD? Clean as you go. That's what I just did. Those aren't quite ready yet. Yeah, I don't blame you for not wanting to get diabetes. Diabetes is not a great thing. Michael is asking, when should you take vitamin D? Low vitamin D can cause symptoms of anxiety, chronic fatigue, joint pain, back pain, hip pain, knee pain, hip weakness, depression, hormonal acne, maybe. So those are some of the questions being asked. When should you take your vitamin D? There's a lot of argument about like you should take it during the morning because that's when you should be getting natural sunlight. And that's great. But in order to absorb, vitamin D needs to be taken with fats. So I tell people to take it with their fattiest meal of the day. For most people, that happens to be dinner. I'm sorry, Scooter. I've never teleworked, so I don't know. Vitamin D, interestingly, also needs magnesium to absorb. And most people take their magnesium at night to sleep better. So if you need fat and magnesium to absorb vitamin D, when should you take your vitamin D? Why are you terrified of taking anything? Steak is mostly a protein, but depending on the cut, there will be some fat in it, Tony. So if you have severe anxiety and your vitamin D is low, taking vitamin D will probably lower your anxiety. Turkey pot pie last night, followed by 40K of vitamin D. That's probably, you probably absorbed it well. Turkey pot pie, the gravy in that's very fat. The turkey's not, but the gravy in it is. Okay, I feel like that one's done. We're going to take it off to rest and add another one of these in here. I don't know why some of these cook faster than others. So you want to make sure anytime you're taking vitamin D that you're getting a lot of very colorful vegetables, because that's how you're going to get your vitamin A and how your body will best absorb it. And also, that you're taking K2. And you want to take K2 because that's going to help shuttle calcium out of the blood and into the bones and the muscle tissue, where it can be used for normal processes like building the bone, but also muscle contractions, particularly your smooth muscle contractions, like in your small intestine. Cod liver oil, you would have to take such a high dose to get the amount of vitamin D that you need that I don't know that you could stomach it, but you can try it. Also, you have to get a brand that is known for its potency and also its how clean it is, and whether or not they use something to keep it from going rancid. Because cod liver oil, according to a lot of the studies, a lot of it out there is rancid, so you don't want to take it. And with chronic gastritis, yeah, it's really hard to heal tissues when your vitamin D is too low. Any of your tissues, honestly. So, it's kind of important to know what your body needs. The other thing that I would do with chronic gastritis is I would look at a supplement or drinking aloe vera juice and a supplement with mastic gum. Because that's going to help heal the gut. I'm going to turn on this fan, I think, because it's going to start smoking in here. And I don't want it to, which means it's going to get really loud. Sorry. I should have picked a different fan to cook these. I wasn't thinking. My bad. Burning mouth is from vitamin deficiencies. I need pulls. So the boys are going to take these extra burgers probably for lunch tomorrow. So I cook them until they're just medium so that when they throw them in the microwave, they don't overcook them. Because that's how they eat them up at school. And no one likes an overcooked burger. No one. Other important things to know about vitamin D, which no one will tell you. Hi, honey bands. Low vitamin D can be a cause for blood clots. A cause for blood clots. How's he fixing it? How's he going to fix the low vitamin D? Great. Stove off. Let's rinse out this pan. And let's make a salad. I give him K2 and D3. Great. How much are you giving him? How old is your son? Oh, I should have made these for roommates. Skip the salad. We're going to make green beans instead. 26 for special items. how often do you test his vitamin D and what is low? And then on top of that, how much are you giving him? Thanks for the gift, Sarah. Yes, if you take vitamin D without K2, it can cause calcifications. So you want to take K2 with it. I think the prescription of vitamin D3 at 50,000 units is safe for most people. But if you're not taking K2 with it, you need to start. And I know, like, when my sister got prescribed vitamin D with D3, she did not get prescribed K2. And it was something that we had to add to her regimen. But there are people who I think need to be taking more than that. Like if your vitamin D is really low and you are struggling with some health issues, you might need more than that. I know, like, yeah, and so Chris, you need K2 in that. And K2 you can pick up most health food stores, but there's also places where you can order it online. So you do need K2 with that. These will be lunch tomorrow. All right, let's cook these green beans with a little bit of salt and pepper. I regularly have clients that come to me, their vitamin D is in the single digits. And we have them take, K2 is another vitamin. We have them take anywhere up to like 25,000 units a day for a month with K2. And I'll have them take MK7 as well and K1 to make sure that we're binding as much as the calcium as possible. Yeah, so someone with high vitamin D shouldn't supplement, but we might want to also look at some of their other factors of health. 4,000 is not the upper limit. It says that 4,000 is the upper limit here too. It's not. You can take quite a bit before you have a problem, especially if your vitamin D is low. Like, I mean, if they're giving people 50,000 units at one time, you can take a lot. I have people do it for like 30 days where I'll just have them 25K a day for 30 days. Then we drop them down to like 10K a day for 30 days and see how we're doing. Just to get them up quickly because they feel better. Like I had one gal, she went in, hers was like 19. I don't know why they're saying no K2. That's not what the research shows. Her vitamin D was at 19. We supplemented with 25,000 IUs of D3. 2 weeks, she calls me and says, I don't need coffee anymore. I don't need my afternoon snack. And I feel the best I've felt in 10 years. Hi, it's not broke. And we kept her at that for another 2 weeks, and then we switched her down to 10K units, 10,000 IUs a day. And that's what she remains at. And she gets her vitamin D tested every 3 months. I take 10,000 units a day. That would probably be more related to the gastritis, Chris. It can sometimes be thyroid related as well, but that also, the thyroid can cause gastritis. So the vitamin D is not usually high due to inflammation, because if there's inflammation in the system, the body would use it up. But there are genetic factors that would predispose someone to high vitamin D. And we look at those to see, like, how can we down-regulate them, basically. One of the ways is to have them run their cholesterol down like 180. I don't let people go lower than that, because below 180 we start to see things like non-diabetic neuropathy, vision issues, cognitive issues, that kind of stuff. High ferritin can be high inflammation. But high ferritin can also be hemochromatosis. And hemochromatosis is a genetic predisposition as well. And then we need to look at other factors of like liver function in order to help that person best. So, all right, we're going to serve up dinner. Stay. And yeah, Michael, it is crazy how much better you can feel with just a little bit of supplementation of vitamin D if your body can absorb it. One of the things we run into is that some people, their gut health isn't good enough to absorb it, and so we need to get them a liquid, because otherwise they can't absorb it in the gut, and we need to get them to absorb it in the mouth. Some docs will even prescribe a lotion, but that lotion, you then do have to be in the sun for 30 minutes after you put it on. It's not broke, that's perfect. It's right where you want it to be. It's kind of like a sweet spot. So that is good. All right, we're serving up dinner, and then Austin's going to go lacrosse with his dad, and Alex is going to go swim, and I'm going to go swim. And it's going to be a great Tuesday. Except that I think I just dropped a green bean. We'll have to find that. Is a spray of D3K2 better? Again, it depends on your gut health, and it depends on how well your body's absorbing it. If you've been taking the vitamin for a while and not moving the needle, it might be time to switch. Because you don't want to just keep taking something that's not working for you. That would be good, Chris. You're welcome. All right, I'm out. We're going to eat dinner. Have a fantastic evening, you guys. Why would you be nervous for an adjustment if your neck hurts? Just go get it and see if you feel better. Good night.